Hello, this is Steve, the co-host of the Coroner's Report podcast, which is on summer vacation, by the way. And I thought that while it's on hiatus until fall, just like school year, that I would share with you along the way some of the research that I'm doing for some of the upcoming shows that we're going to be doing. My first segment here is going to be on something that's called Pennsylvania versus Mimms, Mimms, which is a legal matter that came up on one of the podcasts I'm working on the research on it. So anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Pennsylvania versus Mimms because it'll benefit you too probably. When you're pulled over by the police, you may wonder, can they order me out of the car even if I've done nothing suspicious? That question was answered by the U.S. Supreme Court in a landmark 1977 case, Pennsylvania versus Mimms. Here's what happened. Harry Mimms was driving through Philadelphia when police stopped him for something simple. I think it was an expired license plate. It was pretty routine, but things escalated quickly. The officers told Mimms to step out of the vehicle. He did, but as he exited, they noticed something unusual, a bulge under his jacket near his waistband. That was enough for officers to frisk him. They found a loaded gun. Mimms was arrested on weapons charges. But he argued something bigger was at stake. He said his Fourth Amendment rights, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, were at stake. His defense: the police had no reason to order him out of the car in the first place and no reason to search him. The case made its way all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the ruling: a major win for law enforcement powers during traffic stops. The court said this: ordering a driver out of a car during a lawful traffic stop is a minimal intrusion, outweighed by the legitimate concern for officer safety. In other words, if you're pulled over, officers can legally ask you to step out, even if there's no specific suspicion that you're dangerous. It's about reducing the risk to the officer who doesn't know what or who they are dealing with. And once Mimms stepped out, the visible bulge under his jacket gave police reasonable suspicion to do a quick pat-down for weapons, and that's known as a Terry frisk, which I'll explain in a later episode. But anyway, that's based on another famous case, Terry versus Ohio. So what's the bottom line from Pennsylvania versus Mimms? If the stop is legal, the officer can ask you to exit the vehicle. And if they see something that raises suspicion, like a weapon-shaped bulge, they can search you for their own safety. The decision was controversial to some, but it's become a cornerstone of modern traffic stop procedure and a clear example of how the courts try to balance civil liberties with officer safety. That's your legal deep dive. Next time you're pulled over, now you know, the simple act of stepping out of the car has been vetted by the highest court in the land. Stick around. One of the next episodes, I'll be talking to you about the Terry frisk. Thanks again. Remember, the Coroner's Report podcast is available on all platforms, and it will be back in the fall. Thank you. Have a good one.